Hello, my name is Fernanda, and this is my presentation called Please. In this first assignment, we had to draw our hand 18 times. So as I was drawing my hand, I decided to focus on line weight and different line techniques that I could use, but also I decided to avoid using tone because I knew that it would be later translated into a wire hand. To narrow them down and choose one, I ended up with this set of six, and I chose them either because of their shape or because of the line technique that I used. And as I was looking at them, this dashed one really called my attention because of the lines, but I didn't really like its shape, so I decided to combine it with this other one, which was someone raising their hand. Then I made this wire hand, but I wasn't really happy with it. Looking back at it now, I think that I had two different approaches, which were outline and also trying to make it look solid or at least not flat, but I think that they didn't really work together. So as I was creating my new wirehand, I used this previous one for this assignment in which we were exploring the shadows of the hand by drawing it under the influence of light. And as I was looking at it, I decided that I wanted to explore more the complexity of the wire as I did on the index finger. Then I finished this final version of the hand in which I was able to explore the complexity of the wire and make it more abstract to show my theme, which is someone raising their hand and getting frustrated by not being heard. And as I was doing it, I was mainly thinking about minorities. Then I also drew it and explored the details of the wire hand through the use of regulating lines. As we moved on to Rhino and began to design our box, I wanted mine to be simple, to not overshadow the wire hand. I wanted them to work together. So my strategy was to design it based on the hand, almost like regulating lines. These are the most important terms of my project, so line weight in the very beginning, and then hierarchy and local symmetry as I design my box. I also made this box assembly instructions and I added some things to the box, especially on number 11 and 12. I also made a GIF of the assembly of the box. And this is the final physical bounding box. I did a few small changes along the way, but still pretty close to the design on Rhino. Then we moved on to the designing of the cladding, and my starting point was the front view because I was already thinking of it as I was designing the box. So I wanted to highlight the index finger, but as I was designing it, I also decided to cut a hole in which you could see the wrist so that you have this contrast, but also a sense of continuity to bring this theme of the frustration building up as you go to the index finger. And then on the side views, the right and the left view, I decided to let it open so that it could be shaped by the cladding. So what I did is that I cut the parts that I wanted the viewer to see, in which you have a lot of complexity of the wire, a lot of things going on that you don't really get from any other view. I also did some sections. For the seating of the bounding box, I decided to keep it simple, so I placed it in the very center to emphasize the hierarchy that you can also see in the design of the bounding box, as I am always highlighting the index finger. And I also added some steps so that it could control the viewer's perspective upon the hand and the box so that they can explore the voids that there are in the composition. The final bounding box with the cladding, I was struggling to show this feeling of frustration, so I decided to crumble some pieces and place them near the index finger. And then this is the final model under the influence of light. And I think that the shadows and the lines created by the crumbled pieces, they really work together to show this frustration feeling. And I decided to go even further and add some color. So I decided to add this red lighting, which, red is often related to either love or anger. And with this contrast with the black, I think that they really show this frustration feeling. Thank you so much for your time.